Here again, David Muir and Lindsay Davis.
Who are biased.
Welcome back tonight. The time has come for closing statements, and Vice President Harris.
I would like to see these two retire at the end of this in disgrace.
I think you've heard tonight two
But they'll be very proud of their work.
visions for our country.
No, you
One
haven't.
that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past, and an attempt to take us backward.
Come on.
But we're not going back. And I do believe
That's the line
that
from
the
the
American people know
DNC. We're not
all
going
have so much
back.
more
Because that just really
that
produced that
separates
big
us.
poll
And we can
surge,
chart
didn't it?
A new way forward. And a vision
A new
of
way
that
forward. What?
includes
Different from
having
the
a
12 of the
plan,
last 16 years when you've been in
understanding the
power?
aspirations, the dreams, the hopes, the ambition. of
Dreams,
the American
ambitions,
people.
hopes, they're all the same thing pretty much.
Correct, but we're
good
just
sort of-
shoving
this is
positive.
Just adjectives together.
Bring
Well, they
down the
don't
cost of living. It went up under you.
Up. It exploded. I don't think Australians realise, because our cost of living has gone up.
It was 9%. Inflation is real. Every time I go to Vegas, I lose more each time.
That's
each
not
and
the
every
same
time.
thing. I tell you, inflation, I think there needs to be a bloody inquiry into how they set that rate, the basket of goods they use, because...
I intend to be a president for all Americans.
Except the ones who don't vote for you, who you think are racist, sexist,
Yeah, the ones
men,
who
Christians.
actually pine for a better time.
She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about.
Fantastic.
Why
This is the best bit of his. This is his best bit.
Country. And maybe toughest of all is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country. The worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Boom. Mic drop.
She was the most unpopular vice president in history.
These two. Bye. Go away. Enough.
I want to forget your names again. Who are they? I forgot. I don't want to know. They are absolutely a disgrace to their profession, a disgrace to... it's fine to be commentators. What we're doing here right now is commentating, sharing opinions. But when you've got a role as a moderator, it is absolutely essential that you behave fairly, that you are unbiased, that you treat both candidates the same. That is not what's happened. Not even close. They didn't even pretend, Paul. Not even pretending.
Look, this debate was all about Trump's the problem, Harris is the solution, and they gave her an opportunity to basically make that point over and over again.
Every question was from that perspective.
Every lie that she says, they don't pick up. So frustrating. Well, thank goodness that is over, and not because I think Trump did a bad job, but the moderation was appalling, right? The hosts were awful.
Awful. It was the story of the day, really. You didn't think so. I thought it was either going to be an emphatic Kamala or Trump victory, but it seems like the manner in which the debate was held has become the story in a large way.
Yeah, look, it feels to me that, look, the media's going to turn around and say, he took the bait, he was too angry, he fell for her, 4D chess trap. I think normal people watching this, all right, we know where the hardcores are, right? If you're super MAGA, you got enough hits in. If you're somebody who thinks that he's the devil, you saw, him being held to account. If you're somebody sitting going, who do I want to hang out with for the next 4 years? You saw... I don't think that Harris actually passed the likability test. I don't think that she passed the leader test. She didn't look like a president. She looked like an excellent debater against Donald Trump. But whether that transfers into, do I think you can run the world for the next 4 years? Whereas Trump, yes, you might find him too cranky sometimes. However, pretty strong. Pretty obviously can walk into any room in the world where we know she takes a week of prep to be able to walk into any room, a TV studio.
There's been about a month of prep into that. It wasn't a week. I think she very successfully hid a great deal of her personality. If you've watched her debates previously when she was debating other Democrats, just very unlikable, jarring, shrill at times, but often just annoying, an annoying quality. And I didn't see that as much tonight. It seems like she stripped that back. There was that passive aggressiveness, the looking over, the very deliberate, disdainful look that was, again, rehearsed. Everything you saw tonight from her was rehearsed. But that doesn't mean it's not effective. And I think a lot of it was effective in just calming people who are unsure about her. I think people who are a little bit more politically engaged would have seen through a lot of that BS.
So much.
But if you're a low information voter, and I think her sweet spot is the low information voter, they may have looked at that and gone, oh, well, she's a lot more coherent than I've seen all those clips that are, circulated. She could actually complete a sentence without sounding like she's deranged. That's an improvement. So if your expectations in this were low coming into it, then they were probably met and maybe even exceeded.
See, this is how much we love you. We watch this so you don't have to.
It was painful because it was 3 against 1, but not in a artful, subtle way. It was blatant. It was ugly and blatant. So you had these moderators, not only is every question from a Democrat perspective, and every question is essentially, you're terrible, Donald Trump. Tell us why you're not. And then he says something, Kamala, do you want to respond to what he's just said?
Your defence is not true, Mr. President.
And then,
Vice
these
President.
fact checks, no fact checks of Kamala when she said things that they knew were lies, like the bloodbath lie. They knew that comment wasn't very specific about the
Charlottesville.
The Charlottesville lie, the most repeated lie we have heard in the last 4 years, particularly because Biden never fails mentioning it. They know it's a lie. No correction there. And their participation, they went from moderators to fellow debaters. They should have just got up there and stood next to Kamala.
I have one question for you before we go, all right? I want Trump to win. You want Trump to win. Probably most people watching this video want
America to be better.
Well, correct. The media is going to say that he had a very bad night, right? Even some allegedly right-wing people are going to say it. Reassure me and everyone watching about why Donald actually had a better night than the media is going to say that he had.
He could have had the most perfect performance and the media would say he had a bad night. I mean, you have to remember, even with that debacle with Biden, there were people in the New York Times saying that was a draw. When Biden could literally not complete sentences and had to drop out after that, they were saying. So forget about the media. Trust in the media is at record lows for good reason. I don't think there's going to be too many people who are voting for Trump who are going to change their vote because of that. Now, the people who are on the fence, is that enough to get them over the line? I'm not sure, but I don't think people are going to be determining their vote based on one debate. So I'm not too worried about that. There were a few moments that stood out. And you've got to also remember, most people aren't going to watch the whole thing like we did. We were forced to, taking one for the team. They're going to see little sound bites that are going to be selected by the media. And again, as I said, trust in the media, record lows. So the impact of that is going to be somewhat muted. I think anything he does, he's going to be cast as a villain. Was that his best performance? No. Was it a terrible performance?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It was.
Also, never forget, of the 6 debates, that's his 7th. He's lost the polls all bar one, the snap poll, so ignore all of that. And if we spend the next week talking about cats, guess what? That's actually meaning we're talking about illegal immigration.
Exactly. I think that's why you mentioned the cats.
Correct.
Because as long as we're talking about the topic.
Love you, Rita. We'll see you soon.